Welcome to Manage to Engage, the podcast from clearandopen.com, dedicated to the evolution of you because businesses grow when people do. Serving leaders, managers, and people who will be, helping you reach excellence in your work and achieve your personal goals at the same time. Sign up for the free course at clearandopen.com. But when you identify your dreams well, it's like the flower that's reaching for the sun so strongly it pulls its own roots out. That's part of the design of life. It puts these dreams and goals in you like seeds, and then you move toward them. And the joke is on you because you have to change to be able to achieve them. Change into what? You. Hi, it's Joseph. Thanks for tuning in to Manage to Engage, the podcast from clearandopen.com. This episode is part 4 of the series on HeartCentering. This series is made up of excerpts from the Open to Excellence course available to Clear and Open members. To find out how to join the conversation and become a member, go to clearandopen.com. What if being too sure about who you are is exactly what's in your way? If it's the design of life that you must evolve to have your dreams come true, then being too sure of who you are could be exactly your obstacle. How do you hold that loosely? How do you hold yourself loosely? How can you use not knowing to get where you want to go or find out where you want to go? Let's find out and dive into the conversation.
The one thing, and I think we've kind of touched on it today, just based off of Hannah's initial statement. But the thing that I'm like trying to process is like there's goals that I have, and I think I talked about this a little bit last time, but goals that I have that they seem so much bigger than like the person that I am now. And there's this seemingly massive gap, right, between who I need to be in order to accomplish those things and like where I'm at now. That was kind of like a recent realization a couple weeks ago during one of these calls. And so the second part of that though is then like thinking on a large enough scale to envision becoming that person. So it's not really so much a question. It'll be interesting, like from like doing a eulogy or writing a eulogy, what comes out of that, and thinking from like 45 years from now. What has been done, and looking at it from that angle.
I don't know if anybody else heard it or felt it, but Thomas, that you just illustrated really beautifully. I felt like I could feel that the you wanted to be is you, just not yet.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see how these dreams are pulling you to be that. Right? So I wanted to say, when you said the me I'll have to be for these dreams to come true, I wanted to say, that's already you see? And the sort of trick, when you identify your dreams well, for all I know, maybe even if you do it terribly, but when you identify your dreams well, it's like the flower that's reaching for the sun so strongly it pulls its own roots out. That's the trick. I really think that's part of the design of life. It puts these dreams and goals in you like seeds, and then you move toward them. And the joke is on you because you have to change to be able to achieve them. Change into what? You. So footnote to all that, or sort of the corollary, don't assume you know who you are. It's perhaps the most damaging and destructive thing someone can think or say. I know who I am. You ever notice whenever people say, well, that's just not me. That's not who I am. This is who I am. Whenever they say that, there's this kind of push. And people say it's not like there's not space around statements like that. Well, I've never been that way, but maybe I could. I don't know. Never really thought about being that way. No, it's always like, no, this is who I am and that's it. Well, if you're so sure about that, why do you have to throw it in my face? Why do you have to make that argument for it? The space in which dreams come true is a deep, abiding not knowing of who you are. See, if you can get that you're going to have to be different to achieve your dreams. But your dreams are the deepest expression and fulfillment of you. Well, then they must be associated with who you are. But you're not that yet. But you already are in another way. You are in essence, just not in an expression.
I have a question about putting an end date on giving yourself a date to accomplish these goals when you're not the person you need to be to get there. And
quite a risk, isn't it?
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Good. That's productive terror.
Okay.
Great question.
I guess I'll process going through to become the underlying me to then, but hopefully that comes within the 5 years that I've allotted myself to accomplish these goals.
Yeah, and if you don't hit the deadline, then a big game over screen comes up and you die.
I bet.
That's the thing. So the setting a deadline, that's this is how it's going to go edge. So secretly inside, I don't know when it's going to happen. But if you don't have that, this is how it's going to go edge, you won't have the kind of leverage that you need.
That makes sense. It's a good way to tie it into what you were just saying.
Yeah. It's productive terror.
To sharpen the other edge.
But Joseph, aren't you also saying, and what you said before Claire said anything, was that you already are. Like that's part of the discovery is that you're already there. Like
in essence. So you can't know. I mean, really, setting a goal with a date on it, I mean, in one way, it's one of the most arrogant, ridiculous things you could possibly do, as if you could control such a thing. That's the meta. That's the space inside that the deadline exists. So let your mind set the deadline and let your heart not know and be terrified and just love it anyway.
And Claire, I just had the thought that maybe that thinking about the you want to be or need to be is just, it's a wiser, more authentic version of the you that you already are.
Yeah, sure.
It's growing into that.
I like the word authentic there because authentic speaks to expression. Yeah. Authenticity you could define as when the outside and the inside match.
Yeah.
You can't. This is a funny thing. You can't not be what you are, right? Who and what you are has to already be there. If it's not, it wouldn't be who and what you already are, right? You're not going to turn into a snail, right? If you were to turn into a snail, that DNA would have to already be in you somehow, if it were really you, right? So it's going to be just an expressing of it, which means if it's already in you, there's something blocking it, which speaks to the deconstructive way that I like to work. So imagine the geyser is you. If it's not in full expression, there's a bunch of rocks on the geyser.
So in the next 5 years, I need to remove those rocks.
You don't need to.
I want to.
Okay. Then you get curious about those rocks. Many personal power type paradigms will focus on like pumping the geyser more or like digging trenches to get it to go somewhere or giving you buckets of water to add to it. No. It's all there. It's all there. What's in the way? But here's the problem. Looking at what's in the way is a bitch. It's way harder. It's way more embarrassing. It's more painful, but it's the way that actually works. Because for everything you want, there's an equal and opposite. I don't wanna. I'm afraid. It's impossible. It's not fair. My dog ate it. And the other 80 excuses that I have on my list. That's the real work. Removing the rocks off the geyser. But if you have all this context for it, and then you can go full on into, okay, I want to be me. I want to make my dreams happen. Now, where are those rocks? Who are for sure serving an admirable, noble purpose and think they're doing all the right things. They're just misguided. That's what we'll be talking about probably, maybe next week when we get into the nature of the shadow and what to do about it. Thank you so much. I'm getting to do so much good work on myself doing these things, and I couldn't do it without you, literally. So thanks for being here and doing this with me. Thanks for listening to Manage to Engage, the Clear and Open podcast. Join us next week when you'll be a little bit closer to who you're destined to be. Until then, know that Clear and Open is dedicated to the evolution of you, because businesses grow when people do. Be sure to visit clearandopen.com for the latest tools, articles, and free resources to help you on your journey. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.